All right, welcome everybody to today's webinar. Hope that got you in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day. I am wearing my green, so I know it's virtual. I know you can't pinch me, but just to be safe so I don't get a virtual pinch, I've gone ahead and made sure I wear green. I've also got Sean with me. We'll introduce ourselves in just a second, but he's also wearing green. So we're feeling the spirit today. And if you can't tell, we made our slide deck in Lucidpress as per usual because we are avid Lucidpress users here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit present here. Again, my name is Bree. I'm one of your nomies here, and I'm going to be hosting today's webinar. And then I've got Sean, who will be working in the Q&A section. Sean is pretty new to Lucidpress. So Sean, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Sean. Been at Lucidpress coming on about 3 months now. So this is my first webinar I've been a part of. So I'm pretty excited to help you guys out with some of this stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. So as I said, Sean will be in the Q&A section. So if you move your mouse and go to the bottom part of Zoom, which we're all very familiar with by now, that chat box, love seeing it populate with where everybody's coming in from. Super exciting. A reminder to change your chat box from 2 panelists to 2 panelists and attendees. That way everybody can see where you're coming from. Looks like we've got people coming in from Greenwich and Ohio and New York, California. Lots from California. That's exciting. San Diego, Atlanta, Wisconsin. Looks like most everybody's coming from the US, but we've got a couple outside of the US. So that's really exciting. Now, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, 2 things. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, we are recording this webinar. I'm sure we'll get a question about that later if you're going to get the recording. So let me just tell you now, and then Sean will answer it probably later on. We are recording it and we will send it to you afterwards. It will also be up on our Help Center page, which I'll kind of show you later on in the webinar for you to view whenever you want to. It's also on our YouTube channel. If you go follow our YouTube channel, it's called Lucidpress, you'll find it there. So there's many ways to find this. Additionally, if you have questions during it, we will have a Q&A portion at the end to answer any outstanding questions. But while I'm going through this and kind of working within the editor of Lucidpress, which is what today's webinar will be about, if you do have any questions, please don't put them in the chat box because things tend to get lost in the chat box as people are kind of commenting. If you want to use the chat box for, oh, this is so cool, or oh, I use this all the time, feel free to just have general conversation there. But if you have a question, please put it in the Q&A section so we don't lose it. We can answer it, and it answers it in thread. It just makes everything so much easier. So we're really excited to start today. Now, if you haven't already, please feel free to log into your Lucidpress account and follow along. I've learned that the best way to learn any software, and obviously, again, today we're talking specifically about Lucidpress software, it's to dive in and get into it. So if you want to follow along with me while we're doing this, that will be super beneficial to you. If you're not near a computer and you're just listening, that's great too. No worries. Again, you can look at the recording later or kind of play around in the system a bit later. Now, on that note, if you're like, oh, I forgot my password or whatever, right? What you'll want to do is go ahead and put your email address in and then click this forgot password right here. So go to lucidpress.com, type in that email. If your password has been forgotten or you can't remember it or it's saying invalid password, click forgot password. It will take you to a forgot password screen where you can enter in that same email address that you used to open up your Lucidpress account, and it will send you a reset link. That reset link will contain a temporary password. You can then log into your Lucidpress account and reset it from your account settings once you're in the system. So would love to have you all follow along. And just for the sake of attention for all of us, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. I'll turn it back on towards the end. But I want to make sure that we're focused on Lucidpress. So let's go ahead and start. But before we start, you guys, let's have you go follow Lucidpress on Instagram at Lucidpress, and then there's a little underscore, or if you've got QR codes on your phone, go ahead and scan this QR code right here. The first 5 people to follow it, we will be sending respect the brand Lucidpress stickers. We're really big on our stickers at Lucidpress. Would love to have you get one so you can respect the brand as well. And if you want to just go ahead and put in the comments once you've followed Lucidpress, we'll go ahead and check those comments. And then later on, our social media specialist will go ahead and look at those, make sure that you've followed, and we'll go ahead and send you your stickers. So would love to have you do that. Now, Master the Basics Part 2. So Master the Basics Part 1 happened last month. Don't know how many of you attended that, but that's where you talked about the very, very basics of Lucidpress, logging in at lucidpress.com and the general UI, right? My documents, brand templates. Let me go ahead and go into this so I can show you here. So for example, right? You talked about once you're in the system, looking at the homepage, my documents, templates, images, brand assets, all of these things that are within Lucidpress, you guys talked about. Now today, we're going to talk specifically about how to edit a document, right? And in this COVID world that we're living in, we're all kind of used to sharing things digitally rather than printing things. So I'm going to focus today's document specifically on social media content. Keep in mind, you can do any content you want, but I'm just going to use that as my example today. So when I first go into my home screen right here, I'm going to go to my templates page. Now, depending on what level of Lucidpress account you're in, you may or may not see brand templates or Lucidpress templates, okay? So don't panic if you're not seeing those, but from my screen, right, I'm just gonna show you a couple things that I see. So brand templates, I work for an organization, and if you work for an organization too that's paying for Lucidpress, you probably have brand templates. This is where all of your on-brand stuff lives. So you can look like the expert, you're making your own content, but you have these templates to work from so you don't go off brand, you don't stretch a logo or put a color in there that is not on brand, anything like that, right? You want to look like the expert. You may also have enabled in your account, and if you don't, you can always open a free version of Lucidpress on your personal email or whatever, and go to these Lucidpress templates. Now, the Lucidpress templates are available to any and all people using Lucidpress, and they're just templates that we've created internally that you can use. A lot of our customers will go ahead and sift through these, and they might see some things, some designs that they like and choose to use that and then rebrand it to be their own or remake it to be their own, but at least they don't have to start from scratch. They can start with something. So you can also, kind of, I call it a shopping experience of sorts, right? So if I'm looking for Zoom backgrounds, I can click here and it takes all of my search results to just these results. So I'm not having to sift through hundreds upon hundreds of Lucidpress templates. I can just look for the ones that make sense for me. So we've got a bunch of Zoom backgrounds. If you are still into the Zoom background life, which I totally am, you can check out some of our Zoom backgrounds, right? So that's how you can search for it. You can also search, if you know the name of the template you're looking for, you can also search here. So I could go and just type in social media here. And I know today is St. Patrick's Day, so I want to celebrate today, but we're also going to get a little bit ahead of ourselves. In a couple weeks, we're going to be celebrating Easter. So I'm going to go ahead and use this template. Now, I could use this to rebrand it, and maybe we will rebrand or repurpose the content to be, St. Patrick's Day focused. Maybe that's what I'll do. So I'm going to go ahead and preview this, make sure it's the one I want. I'm liking it. All right. It looks like there's a lot of different, it's the same thing, but just a lot of different sizes that I can use for various pieces. If you don't know already, social media has different dimensions for every single different social media site. So for example, Instagram has different specs or different sizes of documents than does Facebook. And you'll want to make sure you have the correct sizes so that when you upload it to that software, that social media site, it doesn't pixelate your document or make it look bad. So if you choose, you preview this, you choose this one, you're going to go ahead and click use template, or if you don't want to preview it, you can either double click or hit new here. There's many different ways to do it. And it will have you create a document from a template. Now, the reason this is popping up, if you're not familiar with templates already, a template is an unchanging item that somebody has access to edit, probably a marketing team or what have you. But the template remains the same for you, and you create a document from the template. So it's basically a copy of a master, if you will. So you can choose where you want to put this. So for example, I have different folders in my documents section, and I might just want to put this in my brief folder. Select that location, and then I can stay organized that way. Or if you want to, you can go back. This is a button right here. You can go back and just put it in your My Documents section and select that location. Then you can rename it whatever you want. I'm going to Master the Basics, Part 3, Demo. And I'm going to go ahead and create that document. Now it's going to open a new page with my own personalized document, right? Nobody else has access to this right now. It's just me. And it looks like, on a first glance, I've got my 3 pages that I can work from here. This page is extremely small. I could always, if you're working on a Mac and have the touchpad, I can always, you guys know how to Zoom. You guys all have smartphones, right? So you can either zoom in on that, zoom out. You can also move around the document too. Whoops.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Started my series. Sorry, guys. So you can also move around the document, right? Scroll anywhere you want. All right. Now, the purpose of today, again, is to make sure you guys are aware of how to work within the editor of a document. So you can do this as quick as possible, get it out the door, share it on social, whatever you're wanting to do, right? This is probably not your life. If you're a designer, then I guess welcome to the life of a designer. But if you're not a designer and you're just using this as kind of a means to an end, you're kind of wanting to create something as quickly as possible, right? And get it out the door so you can work on your next project. So that's the purpose of today. Now there's 3 different panels I want to draw your attention to. The first panel is over here on this left-hand side. And this panel basically deals with if you want to add anything to the document, a shape, a text box, a new page, right? Blank page, a table. You might want to go here and add. Look at these. We connect with YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, Bright Cove, Matterport. Bright Cove and Matterport are more specific to the real estate industry. If you guys are familiar with those, you could pull in a scrollable text field. You can pull in different buttons, right? So anything you want to add to your document, it's more than likely going to be in this panel right here. Now, if you have this panel pulled out, you guys, this always confused me, and I've heard it confuses many. So let me make this crystal clear right here. Right, you're trying to get back to, okay, my 3 pages, I can see them right here, but like I can't find my page button over here, and you're clicking all over and you're trying to find it and you can't find it. It's hidden behind this toggle. So when you clicked one of these icons, you pulled out a toggle, and in order to find your pages again, you've got to minimize that toggle content pane. So when you minimize it, voila, there it is. Now, if you don't really like to see pages, you want to have more real estate space for design, you could always caret this in as well, okay? And if you lose track of that and you're like, well, now this is pulled in, but my pages still aren't here, it's because this is pulled out. Or sorry, this is minimalized. So in order to find it again, you need to pull it out, and there are your pages. All right. So that's kind of the content pane where you add things to your document. Across the top here, I like to compare this to a Word or PowerPoint or, those types of editors that we're all pretty familiar with, I think. Across the top, you've got File, Edit, Select, View. Now, just so you guys know, I've been at Lucidpress for years now, and I still sometimes am like, where is revision history? It's somewhere in here, but I don't want to waste my time looking. This is when this comes in handy. It's called the feature find. And again, being here for years, I still use this all of the time. So if you click on this, I can look for revision history, or in other words, getting my document back to a previous state that I had it in if I made some edits I didn't like. And you'll notice as I'm typing that in, as I'm typing that in and toggling over these different areas, it's showing me with that blue arrow where to find what I'm looking for. Okay, so revision history is located in this big old long file drop down, and I don't have to search for very long because I have handy dandy feature find. So highly recommend using that. All right, now you'll notice here it says saved. Very rarely will this say like saving in progress or anything because your changes are saved automatically. You don't have to, right? That's the beauty of an online product. We call it SaaS, software as a service product, is that it's all on the internet. And so it saves automatically. There's no having to go in and resave and replace your files or anything like that. It just saves it automatically. Now, if you make, you know, a change here, so let me just move this, you'll notice it says saving. Okay, that will usually be there for a couple seconds. So if in any off chance, you know, you made a change and then exited real quickly, maybe it wouldn't save that last little piece, but overall, you're not going to have any problems with that. Again, that's the beauty of an online software that uses the internet to access it. Okay, and then across the top here, you'll notice things gray out here if I'm not selected on anything. So if I click in this gray area, I'm not going to be able to use any of this stuff really. There's a couple options, but most of them I can't use because I haven't selected anything to edit. Now, if I go ahead and click on, for example, this text box that says Happy Easter, you'll notice I can now change a lot of different things. I can change the text font. I can change the style. I can change the weight of it. It looks like this particular font doesn't have bold and italics available. That's what happens when you select certain fonts, right? If they don't have that available and you didn't upload that font to the system, you could change the font color. You can change all the normal things, right? Paragraph, styles, whatever, alignment, everything. Okay. Now, one thing that I really like to use, so let's say, for example, that, you know, I'm trying to create a St. Patrick's Day thing here. And I'm going to use, oh, I don't know, it can be any font. I'm not going to make this look beautiful, you guys, on the spot, but you'll get the picture here. So I'm just going to use graphic. Okay. Now, sometimes when you change a font, you'll notice this little box appear. That means all of your text isn't showing. It's being limited by the size of your box. So you can always expand that box out and you'll notice all the content pop up. Now let's say that I really want to use this font right here. What you might want to do, or actually I really like this font, so I'm going to keep this font. Let's say that we want to change this font to be that font, but we don't want to have to like, okay, what is this font? Blackjack. Okay, click back here, find Blackjack. All you have to do is click on the font that you like, the style that you like, go ahead and hit this paint format button. And then once you click that, you can click on the element you're wanting to change. And again, it's going to, you know, prevent me from seeing everything because my text box size, because it also copied the size, right, of the font. So I'm actually going to want to scale this down quite a bit, but you get the picture that it changes to match exactly what I had painted from above. Okay, cool. Sean, do we have any questions so far? Just checking in with you. Do we have any that we need to answer live?
We had one talking about shared documents, getting them to save within your own documents that we answered.
Okay, cool. Sounds like you answered it great. Yeah, we'll save automatically. And, you know, if you want to share a document, I'll get to that towards the end. So looks like we're doing good there. Keep populating the Q&A section if you have any questions along the way. We want to make sure all your questions are taken care of. Okay, now right here, I call this the formatting pane. You can also, you know, caret this in and out. Again, if you want more real estate to kind of, right, make this really big and edit, you might want to caret those both in. I personally just like to have them out all of the time. I don't mind so much with my screen being able to view those along with what I'm editing. Okay, so this is a very, very dynamic pane. So what I mean by that is when you click on something, it will change based off what you're clicked on. So this is clearly an image. When I select that, it pulls up the ability for me to edit the image and also the layout. If I click on the text box, you'll notice it pulls up a completely different window based off what I'm selected on. So I can edit the text, the spacing, right? All of these things. I won't go into all of them, but I can edit the shape. I can add a shadow. I could change the opacity. And then we also have layout again. Okay, and then when I'm highlighted on the document as a whole, you'll notice it shows document things such as the size of the document, the orientation of the document. Do you want headers and footers? Do you want the document to be locked? Okay, so you'll see different things like that. Let's go ahead and make a few changes just so you can kind of see this live. I'm going to go ahead and change this to Happy St. Patrick's Day. Again, my font or my text is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to pull that out. Okay, awesome. So we've got that. We need to change this to a green color. Let's go with this one right here. Now, I want a different image in here, obviously. A flower makes no sense for St. Patrick's Day. There's a couple different things I can do, okay? So I could either double click, and if I double click, it will open my image manager. And, you know, maybe I want to use, these are images that I recently pulled in, so maybe I want to use this one. Maybe I don't. I can Control Z. Control Z works in Lucidpress. It's a blessing. All right. I could, you know, insert anything from here. Now, if it's not already in your image manager, you can always upload from, you know, your desktop or whatever you're using. And once you upload it, let me just show you what it does. Let's just take a screenshot. You'll notice that it's uploading here. You won't want to leave this screen till it's uploaded, and then there it is, right? This is just a random screenshot, so I'm not going to insert it, but you can double click on that and it will insert into that. Another way you can do it is by clicking on the image and selecting this over here on my right-hand panel. I can click here, it will pull up the same thing. So two different ways. I prefer double clicking, it's faster, but you can also click on the image fill over here. One other thing that you can do is go to your image manager and you can go ahead and just drag and drop things in from there. You can also, if you have it enabled on your account, again, it depends on, we're talking with people in this webinar, right, that might be on, let's say, a higher ed team and they have access because their university pays for it, or they might, you know, have a free account. So everybody's kind of on a different page. So again, if you're not seeing something in particular, don't worry, you're more than welcome to email us about it and ask, but I'd highly recommend just setting up your own personal version if you don't have one already, because it's kind of fun to do your own personal things, right? More than likely, you're not going to be creating a Happy St. Patrick's Day thing for maybe work or anything, but you might want to do like a St. Patrick's Day party, and so you're going to change it. Now, if I click here on this folder, you'll see that I'm by default, I go to my images, but you might also have images that have been shared with you, right? I've got a lot of different folders of images that have been shared with me. I've also got this Unsplash integration. Oh, here's my brand images. Okay, if you have brand images, here's our brand images at Lucid. So Unsplash is one of my favorite things. Basically, it is a royalty-free artist wanting to kind of make a stamp on the world. And so they put out their images for free. You can donate on the website if you want to the specific artist, but we have this search engine right within Lucidpress. So if I want to look up like, need a green background or something, right? These are high quality images. So when you pull them in, you don't have to worry about things being pixelated, and you can, you know, use them at will. So again, I'm not trying to make this, well, I am trying to make it look beautiful, but it's not going to happen. So, so here's a St. Patrick's Day picture that I might want to use, or, you know, I could look up leprechaun, I could look up whatever I want, and, you know, plug and play different things, see how it looks, move this around. Maybe I want that blue box to be on the left side instead of the right side, okay? And then this one, it looks like this is an image. So whoever made this template, this is an image, and I can tell because it's got this fill right here, and I select the whole thing. It's not letting me select the individual box. But again, I could change that to be, you know, let's say, oh, I don't know. This is gonna look so ugly if I just plug and play some things. Let's do, I'm gonna type in minimalist. I love looking up minimalist backgrounds. So let's go ahead and do like, I don't know, this one. Okay, drag and drop it into this one, not this one right here. And maybe I really like that it's kind of an off gray, and I'm just gonna hide that little plant by using these, right? And then I can kind of mix and match that. You can do whatever you want there. Okay, so that's kind of working within the editor of Lucidpress. Now, just a little bit of a time check. We've got a little over 15 minutes left, so I'm going to go ahead and get into how to share within once you've finished your content, how to share it out to people or how to order prints or whatever. But before I do that, Sean, do we have any questions that haven't been answered specifically relating to how to work within the editor of Lucidpress?
Yeah, we've got one. We have a user wondering if you could show again where you found the icons for social. They have brand templates
sure.
and shared templates only in their dropdown.
Yeah, good question. So the icons for social, I could type them in a search box, or I could even go ahead and here's one other thing I didn't show you. So if I want to, this is just an image of good old Sean right here, okay? I can also drag and drop stuff from like my desktop or from my navigator right here, and use it that way. Now you could also do the same thing with social buttons, right? You could download them and just upload them here, but obviously the easier route would be to go ahead and do it from within the editor. So I'm going to go ahead and go to these buttons, videos, and scroll areas. Okay, if you want to add something to your document, remember you go over here. If you're not seeing it in one of these icons, it's probably somewhere in this little ellipses, I think is what it's called. So you can go ahead and, drag and drop. Let's say I need Facebook in there. I need Twitter, and I need LinkedIn. They're all blue. Okay, now when I insert these buttons, right, I can make them a bigger size if I want to. I'm going to leave them the way that they are. And you'll notice again, based off what you're clicking on, it will change over here. So this is recognizing it as a button, and you can go ahead and link a URL of that button onto the page. Same thing with Twitter and with LinkedIn. Good question. Any other questions, Sean?
No, I think we're doing all right in the Q&A section right now.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so across the top here is the only part we haven't talked about. Actually, no, you know what? Rewind, you guys. Let's talk about one more thing within the editor before we get to sharing. So one of the ways that Lucidpress is collaborative is in that, again, if you have a free version, you're not going to be able to collaborate. But if you have, many people on your team, you can collaborate within documents by using the comments feature, okay? So I can go ahead and let's say I'm collaborating on this with Sean. We're doing a Lucid software party, and we're doing a St. Patrick's Day party, and we need to create this, and I need his involvement in it. So I'm going to go ahead and select whatever thing I want here, and this is the thing I'm going to select because I just really don't know what image to put here. And I'm going to go ahead and comment, and I'm going to tag Sean, who's already a member of my team, so he's going to pull up right here. I'm going to tag him and say, can you think of a better picture to put in here? And then I'm going to comment, and it will send him an email if I have tagged him. And it's saying, do you want the mentioned users to have edit and share access, edit access, comment access? I'm going to give him edit access. And then I'm going to do share and notify. And he's going to get notified by email. And then he's going to come in, and it's going to take him right to that place where he got mentioned at. And he can go ahead and type back here. If it's done, he can go ahead and resolve it. This little icon right here is to help locate exactly what thing is being talked about on the canvas. So if I click on that, you'll notice it zooms me in specifically to this piece, right? And I can see, okay, Sean can see, okay, Bree was saying that this is the image she's wondering about. What picture can we put in here that would be better? And once that's done, then I can click resolve. If Sean or myself goes ahead and wants to, actually talk more about this, we can actually reopen it. And that's how you do comments. Now, I highly recommend comments above chat, though I will say chat does have its purposes. I've only used this once or twice, but it does have its purposes. So comments will save regardless of whether you're in the document, out of the document, whatever. The chat feature will only work while the people are in the document. Okay, so if Sean and I are both in this document at the same time, we can go ahead and chat back and forth. Hey, and I can send that message, right? And we can keep going back and forth. Now, Sean's not in this document right now because he's in the Q&A section, but if you were in here, he could chat back and we could be chatting. The moment we leave this document, that chat doesn't save. So if it's, you know, a chat you need to be having with somebody to collaborate on something that you don't need to worry about coming back to later, and it's a temporary thing you're needing to work within the editor for, you can go ahead and use the chat. Otherwise, highly recommend the comments section. Okay, excellent. Now we're done with the editor. So let's go ahead and go to these buttons up here. The first button we have right here is the preview mode. So if I go back to my presentation that I was on, I can go ahead and escape this, right? I can go back to the editor and then I can click on this play button and it will basically play it from within my editor. So I'm still in the editor, but it's just a fast way to be able to present. When I first came to Lucidpress, to be honest, I used PowerPoint like a lot. And now using PowerPoint is so hard for me because I'm so used to using Lucidpress. So if you've got Lucidpress account already, which I think all of you do if you're in this webinar, I would highly recommend giving this a try for any slide decks that you're creating. Okay. The next one we have here is a download option. So if I click on this, I can download using PDF, PNG, or JPEG formats. Now, if you're not familiar, usually PNGs are higher quality than JPEG. So depending on what you're looking for, I usually err towards doing a PNG or PNG with the transparent background, if I need a transparent background. If I'm going to print it, I'm definitely going to select that PDF and make it a print ready PDF. You can select the resolution here, right? You need lower DPI if it's going to be just on the computer screen versus print, whereas print, you'll need to have that higher DPI to make sure the resolution comes through in the print. You can select a page range. You could just say, I want the current page, and you'll notice it will change over here based off what you select on the pages. You can, get into these advanced features, which I'm not going into today, but crop marks, bleed marks, make sure it's a print friendly PDF. And then I can go ahead and download it. And when I download it, you'll notice it's generating that file and it will pop up shortly. I shouldn't have picked this piece to download because it's like many pages. So that was poor planning on my part. But once it's downloaded, it will pop up here and you'll be able to download that. Okay, go back over here. Now you've got many different share options. Oh, there's our download. So it did come in pretty fast considering that deck that I was on was like 50 pages. If I go over here to the share option, I can click share like this, or I like to just click this caret because it shows you all the options. This share button will just pop up the collaborate with others option, whereas I like to see all my options unless I know I'm going to collaborate with others. So let's talk about collaborate with others first. Very much the same way that you'd share like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or really anything that you can share online. It's the same thing. You can type in the email here. So I can type in Sean Anderson. I don't know why you're not popping up, Sean. Let's type in Tyson. He's on our team too. So I can type in Tyson. I could type in whoever I want to share it with. I might also just not want to have them get an email notification. I don't know about you guys, but my emails sometimes get bogged down, right? So maybe I just want to share it with them in Slack. I can do that two different ways. I could create a shareable link, and I can either restrict it to folks that have a Lucid software email address, or I could make it a public one if I want to share it out to, let's say for me personally, a customer or somebody, I can use a public link. If I share a link with them using the restricted to Lucid software, they're going to get an error and not be able to view the document. Okay, when I create that link, let's say I want public edit, I'm going to make it a single use link, and then I'm going to generate it. And you'll notice it says link copied. So this link is copied and ready for me to go into Slack or whatever you use. and go and share it with them. If I am like, oh, single use link, I don't remember who has access to this, I'm just going to take it off of there. So you can do that too, right? And you can change the access of anybody on here. You can also, this is new, but this is our Slack integration. So you can actually also, let's say that, you know, I want to, Larissa's a member of our team. I want to share it with Larissa. I can type in Larissa's name here. She's integrated with my Slack on our Lucid software Slack, and then I can give her whatever access I want to, and I can share it in Slack. And she, I think she's on this webinar today, but she should receive a notification and then should be able to pop into this document and collaborate with me if I want, you know, her quick collaboration or quick thoughts on something. All right, next one. And these next couple, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail with, just because they can be a little bit more complex. If you want to, next month we're doing our advanced features webinar. That's a lot more targeted towards like account admins and people who are actually creating the templates rather than just using the editor and using the templates given to them. But you're welcome to join that one. You can publish a document to the web, you can embed in an email, you can embed in a website. I love this publish to a web feature. I don't think this is used near enough. So if you publish it to the web, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. It gives you your own custom URL, and then you can almost honestly make a website out of Lucidpress documents. So for example, I could go back here into my editor. I can click on, you know, I already showed you how to link these, but you can click on anything and link whatever you want. You'll notice this link appears right here. You could link it to an email, a different URL. So if you publish a different Lucidpress document, you can use that URL and have this text go to that URL. You might have a lot of pages within your document, in which case, you know, you can select what page it takes them to. Or, you know, if you already have a publication that's ready to go, you can click here and it will load all of your publications in Lucidpress, and you can click which publication you want them to go to. So it almost makes a website for yourself, if you will, and it's really fun to use. Highly recommend playing around with that feature. And then we've got this post to social here, and it will pop open a window, and this is all native to Lucidpress, right? Our dev team has built these integrations for you. Now, something to keep in mind here is social media is, our limit is basically what that social media platform will allow us. So for example, with Facebook, you know, if I logged in using my Facebook, which I could, I can post things directly onto my page. If you have a company page though, Facebook doesn't allow you to do that. It only allows you to post to your personal page. So you can't post to like a group page. Same thing with LinkedIn, and they're limitations on that social media platform. So, you know, you can always download it and upload it to a group, but as far as like an in-product integration, those will only work for your personal profiles. If you've never played around with Buffer, Buffer has a free option where it allows you to connect, I believe it's up to 3 different social media platforms, and it's kind of a social media scheduler, so you can put everything in there and you don't have to worry about when it posts because you've already planned for that. So you can connect to Buffer so that all of your posts then will go into Buffer as well. And then, you know, Instagram's pretty common one we use these days. Instagram's the same thing. It won't allow third-party posts, so we're not allowed to kind of have that inherent within the product. It just won't allow it, period. But we've got the instructions here. It's really easy. Really, anytime you want to share anything, you can just download it, and then you'll transfer those images to your mobile device or you know, your laptop or whatever, if you've got Instagram pulled up, and then you can go ahead and just upload it to your Instagram post. Okay, let's go back to the editor here and talk about one more thing, and then we'll open it up for questions, and that's the order print option. So this is the blue button, and you're automatically connected to our printer called Alexander's. So unless otherwise specified, you're connected to a printer that's also located in Utah. We're located in Salt Lake City, Utah. And you'll notice, you know, oh, I actually don't have a document that's the same size print. That's because it's social media, you guys. We don't want to print this, right? But in the event that we would want to print it, you'll notice for a flyer, just general, right, normal size stuff, these will stop being grayed out, and you'll be able to go through the print flow and just print out your orders. You can send it to yourself or send it to other people, or right, you can do bulk sends. The more you order in bulk, the better discount you're going to get. So this is the editor of Lucidpress. Oh, you'll notice, look, there's Larissa right there. She's in the document. I can see her. And I can actually click on her and I can follow where she's at. So she's up here at the top of my document. If she moved around, I could follow where she goes. All righty, Sean, what other questions do we have here that we can answer in the last couple minutes?
Right now, the Q&A is actually empty. We had a few questions about changing your information about for your smart fields within your own user profile.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So again, without going into the weeds, essentially smart fields, if you're working with an organization that has what we call data automation, you have your own profile smart fields so that when you open up a template, it inserts your own information automatically without you having to edit it. In order to change that, you just click on your initials up here, or it might be a picture if you've uploaded a picture of yourself. Go to account settings, and it will pop open a page. I've got so many pages open. I never recommend having like more than 3 Lucidpress pages open because it just makes your computer slower. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of a bunch of those. Okay, so I can edit this. I can change my first name, last name, my address that I want things to be shipped to, my name here, and then this is the smart fields area that everybody's talking about. So I can change this to a different title. I'm not a realtor. I'm a customer success manager. I don't know whose number that is, but it's not mine. I think these are probably test things I put in when I first opened up my Lucidpress account, but you can change your profile smart fields here. And then anytime if you've got an admin team that's creating templates that with profile smart fields, then those things will populate into your document. Good question. Anybody else?
We've got a question a little bit more specific for certain kinds of templates. So how to make like a folded document. So when it's folded in half, it'll make a large 4-page newsletter from just 2 pieces of paper within Lucidpress.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so let me go ahead and go into Documents panel. Again, I'm going to exit out of all of these things because it's just not going to bode well for me in the long term. Okay, so let's just take the example of a newsletter. And like I said, and you know, I was hoping to make this last about 45 minutes. We've got another 15 technically. We've got the whole hour, but so if you need to drop off, totally okay, understand. But if you want to stay on to view these things, it might be helpful for you. So I'm going to type in newsletter here. I'm just going to use this one here, double click. I'm going to call it test. I'm going to create that document. So you can either create a newsletter this way where it's all just one page, or in the event that it sounds like the question is, whoops, the question was answered. Let me go back into that question. Where is that? How to lay out a folded piece so that it's on one large paper or whatever. Okay, so play around with this, right? And it's going to depend on how your printer prints things too. So I definitely recommend doing more research than just the information that I give you. Oh, speaking of smart fields, look, this document has smart fields that I need to update. I can click to update it here. It looks like it needs my address smart field. So what you could do is, you know, you can change the size of the document if you want to. So this is an 8.5 by 11. You might want to make a custom size and do like, I don't know, let's make this ginormous 12 by 30. So I can make it really big. That's obviously not going to print at a normal printer, just side note. I could make it really big. Maybe I want to actually go to like 50 here. Let's go bigger. Go. Oh, whoops. I was changing the height. That's why. Okay. Let's do the width of 20 or something like that. So, you know, I can change it, or if I want to keep it on an 8.5 by 11, I could always just make this smaller, and then I can go ahead and just copy. I'm going to unlock everything here. I can go ahead and copy all of this and paste it somewhere else, right? And just make 4 different pages. Or what you could do is you can turn on spreads in your document if you want to see like pages side by side. They're going to print the same way, so I don't know that having spreads on or off really matters, but in the event that you want spreads on, you could turn it on. So you've got, you know, pages side by side. Here's the first page, here's the next two. All righty, what else, Sean?
We had a question about downloading in Cmyk color formats for PDFs. I'd be good to see how we can change those settings within the document so we can get those to print properly.
Yeah, so you can go to order prints here. I need to go to, let's do an 8.5 by 11 because they're not going to have this size that I have my document in currently. I'm going to go ahead and delete this page and delete this page, just have my 8.5 by 11. So if I go to order prints here, you'll notice that these options pop up. I could do a flyer or a letterhead. Let's say I want to do flyer. It will give you the options, and then as you're going through the print flow, it will kind of help you understand how it's going to print. It will give you a preview of that just to make sure everything's in alignment and it's printing correctly. Any other questions?
We had another one about assigning specific fonts to the document itself. So when you click on like a title text that you want to add, it automatically goes to like Times New Roman or whatever font that they select.
Yeah, good question. So when you're adding fonts, right, let's say this isn't the font that you want to have as default. That's kind of annoying if you've got all these different text box out to have to go into each of them. Even if you select all of them, it's still a pain to have to go in and change, right, what font you want. So if you go into the editor here and you go to your brand assets, you should have the ability, if you're a user on a paid platform and you know this is being used for your brand, you're not going to be able to edit this, and for good reason, right? We want to make sure we're staying brand consistent in our organizations. But if you're using this for personal interests or personal things, you can go into the text styles and you can change these, right? So I could edit this and I can change anything I want that has to do with the font and the spacing. I can show a paragraph view to make sure that's the type of font I want. And then this font now becomes the font that I use anytime I want to pull out my header font. So I don't have to go in and change that font within the editor. Good question. Anything else? We're good? Okay, so for those of you that have stayed on, kudos to you. We've got a couple of other little sticker giveaways if you missed out on the first one that you're going to be able to take part in here. So if you want a free sticker and you didn't get one the first time, go ahead and let me go to present mode here. Go ahead and use these QR codes. We've got a couple different things. We've got our own Spotify account. We do podcasts for Lucidpress. We've also got Stitcher, and you can go in and follow these. And then once you've followed it, go ahead and send a screenshot to tmickelson@lucidpress.com. That's Tyson Mickelson. And go ahead and send that to him, and then he'll send you a sticker if you were one of the first 5 people. So I'll go ahead and type his email in the chat box here so you all have it at lucidpress.com. Whoops, I just sent it to panelists. Rookie mistake, got to change it to panelists and attendees. There we go. Again, this meeting is being recorded. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my video one last time. Thank you so much for attending. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. I hope the leprechauns did something wonderful at your house today, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.